delighted to say that Charlie Taylor, who's the Chief Inspector of Prisons, is with us now on the programme, listening into that as well. Andy says she's defending her position. What do you make of what you've just heard from Suella Braverman?
Well, I think it's good to hear that the Home Office is aiming to move as many people out of Manston as possible. Certainly, we are increasingly concerned about the conditions that we've seen there. There are lots of very credible reports coming out that too many people are being kept in there for far too long. So we welcome any move to begin to change this dire situation.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the conditions are there? What are people telling you? What has been found?
We've got a report coming out tomorrow, which is from the summer. And actually, what we saw at that time were things were reasonably good, that people were processed generally fairly quickly. We had some criticisms, but there'd been some improvements. I then went back in September and saw that things were beginning to get a little bit worse. So people who were supposed to be there for no more than 24 hours were being kept for 4 or 5 days. What we're now hearing is that people are there for long periods of time. And that's why I've said that we will return quickly as an inspector and as an inspectorate and be back again at the site. And
right at the start of the programme, we showed how that number has increased over the last few years to almost 40,000 this year, which is a huge jump from last year and massive jump from where we were sort of back in 2018.
That's right. Up against some very sophisticated people smuggling gangs who have discovered a new route for getting people into the country. And what that's resulted in is large amounts of migrants who are now ending up at Manston, who were coming through or are coming through Western Jetfoil as well at Dover.
We've had quite a few comments on this subject on the 5 phone tonight. I don't want to throw these at you, but it'd be interesting to see what our viewers are thinking about this particular subject.
It's interesting. I think Gareth Blakely, who messaged in, he represents the views of a lot of people. He just says, I'm disgusted that this problem is dragging on. And if it's not addressed, there's going to be more resentment from the public, which is an important point. David from Swindon says, why should we provide over-the-top facilities for migrants? Sally says that the law that says you have to arrive on a country's soil to claim asylum isn't fit for purpose. I think lots of people really texting in saying they don't feel that the current situation is fit for purpose, is helping anyone, and that seems to be what you found too.
Well, people have got very strong views on this, and this is a highly politicised issue. But ultimately, as an inspectorate of prisons or anywhere where people are held in custody in England and Wales, what we want to see is people in decent, humane conditions. And what appears to be going on at Manston at the moment is those conditions are not humane and they're not decent.
So when people are concerned that they are over-the-top facilities, that's not what you've been finding at all?
No, it's people sleeping on floors with fairly rudimentary facilities, blankets. When I was there in September, people weren't even getting outside at all. So apparently people are now getting outside, at least for some fresh air. But no, these are not over-the-top facilities by any stretch of the imagination.
And they're not meant to be there for a long period of time, either. Sort of 24 hours is ideally what it's meant to be.
Absolutely right. This is a short-term holding facility. It's supposed to hold people for a maximum of 24 hours. When we were there in the summer, they were processing people through pretty quickly. And apart from a few cases, generally things were working reasonably well. But for whatever reason, things have gone badly wrong, apparently. And that's why we'll be going back to re-inspect the place.
I mean, do you think this is something that could be solved reasonably quickly? It does seem that in October and November there were very high numbers of migrants crossing last year, so we are expecting more people to be coming, aren't we?
Well, yes, indeed. And what we're seeing is that people smugglers are bringing people in almost no matter what the weather is. So people are coming throughout the winter in numbers that perhaps we haven't seen in the past. So this doesn't seem to be an issue that's going away anytime soon. So people need to be kept in safe, humane conditions while they are housed at Manston.
Thank you very much for coming in and telling us a little bit about your experience. Well, I know you've had a really busy day as well. That's Charlie Taylor, who's the Chief Inspector of Prisons. And thank you for all your comments you've sent in on the 5 phone tonight as well. I know it's a subject, as Tessa said, that lots of people feel very strongly about.